Hello, one and all. It's my view of My Hero Academia Vigilantes, Chapter 104, the bad one. And I have to say, I think I was wrong. I said in my last video there was no way that Koichi would come back without signaling All Might somehow, someway, shooting a big blast towards his agency, or, making a phone call once he was outside the range of the EMP blast, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I mean, O'Clock said that All Might would be there in under 60 seconds, but I don't think anyone here would have lasted 60 seconds. I mean, these Pronomo are literally seconds away from capturing Soga, from killing the detective and Midnight. So I think Koichi had to come back, and it actually might have been the right choice now I think about it, because, as soon as he comes back, as soon as Six's attention is focused entirely on him, all the Nomu stop. They completely and utterly stop in their tracks, and I think there's a very good chance that this includes the other Nomu, the one that Aizawa and Jenny and Vastinus and Edsha are fighting on the other side of town, and if so, Aizawa can rush over the hospital and lend a helping hand. He can block Six's quirk long enough for Koichi to deliver the finishing blow, or for the detective to deliver the finishing blow, or for somebody to deliver a finishing blow on Six. So all Koichi really needs to do is buy time, distract him, and Koichi found the absolute best way to buy time. He asked Six a question about himself, and immediately Six went into a whole monologue explaining the truth about his face, about his identity, about the thing with Pop and all that, and he just ranted and raved for like a good couple minutes. So good job, Koichi. You really appealed to his vanity there, and that was the absolute best thing you could do. I mean, seriously, even as dense as Koichi is, he was perfectly aware the person standing in front of him was the guy that just threatened to murder him a few days ago. But by asking about it, he was able to buy time. That was such a brilliant move on his part. Though the explanation that Six gives is rather interesting, as he explains that his face, and even the personality a little bit, of his Roku Noma persona was based off of Koichi. And this makes so much sense. He wanted to create an instant connection with Pop, so he basically latched onto her feelings for Koichi and transferred them over to himself by looking and acting like Koichi. But what I'm really wondering here is, because Six looks so much like the Crawler, could we just say Six was the Crawler? I mean, that might seem like an insane idea, but let's not forget, Koichi's entire life has basically been completely and utterly destroyed. He has no future whatsoever. That might sound a little harsh, but this here society is incredibly rigid, and they do not forgive mistakes. I mean, let's not forget that Gentle's entire life was ruined because of one act of heroics. Koichi has done many, many acts of heroics, and is wanted by the police. His mugshot is on the news. Oh, and let's not forget that he royally ticked off Endeavor, so yeah, he is never going to find anyone willing to hire him, and that's assuming he doesn't get sent to Tartarus. So could we just say Six was the Crawler? Six was this rogue vigilante? Six did all this evil criminal stuff? And the whole Koichi thing was just a case of mistaken identity because they look so much alike? I mean, the public would believe that. The public would buy it, and we've certainly seen cover-ups before in this series. I think it would make a lot of sense. And it would also line up with something Koichi said a very, very long time ago. He said this summer would be the last summer of the Crawler. That could be the case where, he can't be the Crawler anymore because the Crawler is a wanted criminal. The Crawler is Six, who was sent to Tartarus, so he can never, retake up with that persona. He can never go out and help people again as the Crawler, because then people would realize, oh, Six wasn't actually the Crawler, you're the real Crawler. We should probably tell the police about this, and they would blow up the whole cover-up. I'm not sure about that, a little on the fence, but I think it would make a lot of sense. I mean, maybe this is just meant to further emphasize that they are the Flash, Reverse Flash, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, then we see more of Six's grand delusions and utter insanity, as he convinces himself that if he just gets rid of Koichi, he can make Pop his again, and they'll be the ultimate duo, Rock and Pop. Which, no, there's so very, very much wrong with the logic behind that. I don't even know where to start, but the most important thing, at least to O'Clock, is the fact that she is a liability because she knows too much, and therefore she must be eliminated. And there's just something so bizarre and weird about this. I mean, Six is this utterly delusional and insane person, but his alternate personality, O'Clock, is so calm and level and reasoned, it doesn't feel right. It feels like there's something more going on here. I said in my last video, I think O'Clock's persona is actually All For One somehow manipulating him, All For One somehow controlling him in some way, but I'm just really not sure. It just feels so weird that they're just so apart, so insane in the same body. I'm really not sure about that. But anyway, then Koichi prostrates himself on the ground and promises to run away and never come back if he just spares Pop, which, oh my god, I freaking love this. I mean, when I first read this, I was screaming because, it's just so utterly believable. This is the sort of thing that Koichi would do. That Koichi would misunderstand Six's intentions so much that he believed that if he just left, Pop would be okay. And, Six believes it too, because Six is so utterly arrogant, and Six knows how dense Koichi is, so he believed it too. He really believed that Koichi is being 100% serious with this, but actually, it was a deception! And Koichi managed to use the opportunity to get behind him, pivot his one remaining leg, and put him airborne, where he isn't able to accelerate, where he isn't able to do anything except wait for Koichi to deliver the finishing blow. Wait for Koichi to kill him, and I freaking love it. I freaking love it. I mean, seriously, like I said, this is exactly the kind of thing you'd expect Koichi to do, and Six is so arrogant he'd actually expect Koichi to do this. But it was a deception, it was a trap, and it was so utterly perfectly executed, and I freaking loved it. Unfortunately, it is at this exact moment that Koichi remembers his promise to Pop to never use a full-strength blast on a living person, and he misses. God, Koichi. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? You had the shot and you missed. You missed on purpose because you couldn't break your promise to Pop, even if it meant she's probably gonna die now because of you. God freaking Christ above. Though honestly, this is probably for the best. I know that's a very hard thing to say, believe me. I'm not enjoying saying it, but at the same time, Koichi is not a killer. He's not a person who would take another human being's life like that, and for him to actually do that, for him to actually deliver the finishing blow just feels so very, very unlike him. I mean, yes, I've been saying for the last couple of videos that I wanted him to finally reach this point where he'd be willing to do anything to protect Pop, protect the girl he loves, but there is a limit. There is a limit that he just cannot overcome, a limit he can't pass because of his soul, his consciousness, his morality. And plus, there's the fact that this is going to be the final fight of the series. Did you guys really want it to end in one chapter? Did you really want Koichi to deliver the finishing blow just like that and call things, end the game there? No, I want to see this fight keep going. I want to see exactly what Koichi is capable of doing. Also, like I said, last video before that, if Koichi actually did kill Six, no matter how much of a terrorist he is, no matter how evil he is, that's not the kind of thing they can swipe under the rug. He would definitely be going to jail, hard risk for probably the rest of his life. So, yeah, it doesn't seem very likely that Koichi is going to deliver a finishing blow in this fight. I'm thinking someone else is going to put the finishing blow, someone else is going to kill Six somehow, some way. But anyway, because Koichi missed, Six is able to get behind him and deliver a very, very painful looking blow that might have actually killed him. I mean, obviously it didn't, but the question really is, how did he survive this? I mean, in theory, I'm seeing a lot online right now, is that Knuckle Duster showed up and took the blow himself or managed to push Koichi out of the way. That seems really, really unlikely at this point. My own personal guess right now is that Koichi managed to find a way to put up a barrier of some sort around him to protect himself from Six's blow, and that would actually make a lot of sense. I mean, his whole power is basically being able to push energy outside of his body, mainly his hands and his feet, but there could be other ways as well. Maybe he can, push it through, every pore in his body and basically create a full armor protection that would allow him to survive Six's blow. That would be so utterly freaking amazing. I'd love to see that. And it would allow this fight to go longer, which, is very important right now. Like I said before, if these pronomos stop, there's a good chance the other pronomos that Aizawa is fighting stopped as well, meaning that Aizawa can rush over and lend a helping hand. Maybe he'll deliver the finishing blow. Maybe he'll stop Six somehow, some way. But if he can show up and just disable Six's quirk for long enough, then somebody can deliver the finishing blow. Somebody can kill Six and end this freaking fight already. And even if that doesn't happen, even if the pros are too busy to rush over and help the hospital, I do still think there's another way that Koichi can win this fight. Basically make it a battle of attrition, a battle of endurance. I mean, yes, obviously Koichi has a limit as well, but Six has already done so very, very much tonight. He sent out that huge EMP blast, he's been controlling all the Protonomu, his entire body was basically melted and reconstructed a few minutes ago, so he must be reaching the limit of his abilities, the limit of his endurance at some point. I mean, yes, he is some sort of science project that is, superhuman, he has so much energy, but even that has to have a limit. Even he has to have a limit to how much he can regenerate, how much he can recover in a single fight, and if Koichi is able to keep, dodging, deflecting, jumping back again and again and again, he might be able to wear Six down to the point where he isn't able to, keep his form constructed anymore, at the point where he basically blacks out, and that would be the end of the fight for him. Or at the very least, he'll be able to slow Six down enough where the detective come in and shoot him, or Midnight can come in and put him to sleep. Both good options, both good options. And that's really what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be Koichi versus Six. Koichi wearing down Six for a very, very long time, at least next 3-4 chapters, until eventually someone else shows up and delivers the finishing blow. Someone else puts him down permanently, because like I said, I really just can't imagine Koichi, killing someone right now. He already realized, he isn't capable of doing it because of his promise to Pop, so yeah, I just don't think that's going to happen. I am seeing a lot of people theorizing online that Knuckle Duster is going to show up and save the day. Knuckle Duster is going to show up and basically put Six down, and I'm just really not sure about that right now. I mean, we haven't seen him since his last fight against Six, and I've been theorizing ever since then that he took some major hits in that fight, either being, actually killed or wounded so badly that he isn't able to fight anymore, or just wounded so badly where he knows he won't be able to put up a fight against Six, and if he goes back to try it again, he will definitely die and leave his daughter all alone in the world. So, not sure about that. Really not sure about that. But yeah, let me know down below. Do you think that Koichi found some way to send a message out to All Might before this happened? Do you think that the other hero is going to show up some point down the road because the other Nomus have stopped moving? Do you think that Koichi can actually finish off Six? Do you think he can actually kill him? Or do you think someone else is going to have to show up and deliver the finishing blow? Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video. And until then, peace!